There are times where I or most of us haven't gotten enough sleep at night because we're probably doing our homework assignments or studying for exams or being on our phone or laptop late at night and I not getting the enough hours of sleep affected me the next day I woke up. So I came to think what happens in our brain when we sleep. It's because this is what we do. We sleep and sleeping is part of our daily lives. So when we sleep, it leads to a healthy brain function. While we're sleeping, the brain is developing new ways for us to remember information and giving us the ability to not forget what we have just learned. So today I'll be talking about what happens in the brain when we sleep, how much sleep is enough, and 5 tips you can use when it comes to sleeping. We need to know what REM sleep is and then what happens in the brain when we dream. So in the first hour and a half, we go through stages from light sleep to deep sleep. After deep sleep, there's this last stage called REM sleep, rapid eye movement. This is where our heart rate and our breathing become uneven. Our eyes move rapidly and our brain activity rises to almost the same level as if you're awake. This is where most of our dreams occur. On the Psychology with Neuroscience website, last updated 2012 states that during sleep, you go through the sleep cycle 3 to 5 times at night. In REM sleep, our body becomes paralyzed. Why? According to William Collier, a medical director of the Florida Sleep Institute, on September 9, 2012 stated from the same website that it's nature's way of making sure you don't act out your dreams or hurting yourself. Which brings me to what happens in our brain when we dream. Sleep experts admit they're not really sure what happens in our brain when we sleep, but it appears that it is when memories meet emotion. There are also nightmares that we have. According to Shelby Harris, a doctor of psychology, stated on the Psychology with Neuroscience website that most of the time they're triggered by ongoing stress. So dealing with stress can lead to having nightmares when it comes to sleeping. Aside from what happens in the brain when we sleep, sleeping is something that affects us every single day, whether it's too much sleep or not enough sleep. Which brings me to my next point. How much sleep is enough? The amount of sleep you need each day will change when you get older. For college students like us, we need the enough hours of sleep so that it does not affect us at school or at work. On November 12, 2015, according to the CDC website, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, this is the recommendation for us. We need 7 to 8 hours of sleep each day. If you often lose sleep or choose to sleep less than needed, then the sleep loss adds up and can affect your performance during the day. Some people nap to deal with their sleepiness. Napping can give you that boost of awareness and performance, but it's not a benefit of a good night's sleep because it can take away hours of sleep when it comes to sleeping at night. Now that I've talked to you about how much sleep is enough, let's take a look at a few tips when it comes to sleeping. Here are 5 tips on how to get a good night's sleep. Getting the enough hours of sleep each night may cause you to be happier and more productive during the day. So the first tip is keep your bedroom dark. Some people like to sleep with the TV on or the lights on, but that can make it harder for you to fall asleep. Tip number 2, put away all electronics and turn them off when preparing for bed, because we sometimes like going to bed with our cell phones or our laptop, and we tell ourselves, I'm gonna be on my cell phone for 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes turns to an hour, and then that hour turns to 2 hours, and then that 2 hours turns to midnight, and then you just realized all the hours you have lost of sleep, or you could have been sleeping, and that affects you the next day when you wake up. Tip number 3, have a sleep and wake up routine. Pick a time you want to go to bed, and then pick a time you want to wake up, and keep the same routine even on the weekends, where it can help you get the enough hours of sleep. Tip number 4, avoid caffeine. We already know what caffeine does to you. So caffeine can also make it hard for you to fall asleep. Tip number 5.